We begin tonight with Campaign 2016, where a potentially game-changing announcement came from the FBI that agents tonight are reopening up their investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails.
And many are questioning the timing of the announcement by FBI Director James Comey and how much impact it could have this close to Election Day. For more on today's political bombshell, we're joined by KCAL9 political reporter Dave Bryan. Dave.
I think this seals it. They will be talking about this campaign for at least 100 years, right? I mean, no doubt. Tonight, one of the most bizarre presidential campaigns in history got even more surreal. The FBI director essentially reopening the criminal investigation of Hillary Clinton's private email server 11 days before the election and less than 4 months after he closed the investigation, because thousands of missing emails are found on a laptop shared by Clinton's top aide, Huma Abedin, and former Congressman Anthony Weiner. In Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Friday night, Donald Trump launched into a celebration of the FBI announcement that the Clinton email investigation is back on again.
The investigation is the biggest political scandal since Watergate, and it's everybody's hope that justice at last can be delivered.
Any reaction to the FBI investigation?
Hillary Clinton pointed to the timing of the FBI announcement and demanded some details.
We are 11 days out from perhaps the most important national election of our lifetimes. Voting is already underway in our country. So the American people deserve to get the full and complete facts immediately.
What's causing all the fuss is the October surprise that came in a 3-paragraph letter from FBI Director James Comey. Agents on an unrelated case, he wrote, had learned of the existence of emails that appear to be pertinent to the Clinton investigation. CBS News reports the unrelated case involved former New York Congressman Anthony Weiner, who sent sexually graphic messages to a 15-year-old girl and many other females. Weiner is separated from Clinton's closest aide, Huma Abedin, who was traveling with Clinton on Friday. A laptop shared by Weiner and Abedin contained thousands of new Clinton-related emails, which the FBI director said must be reviewed to determine whether they contain classified information. Comey's letter blindsided Clinton and her top aides, who had been briefing reporters minutes earlier on the campaign plane.
Ohio, we are also winning the early vote.
And brought down the wrath of California Senator Dianne Feinstein, who put out a scathing statement. Director Comey admits, she wrote, the FBI cannot yet assess whether or not this material may be significant. He cannot predict how long the investigation will take. And we don't know if the FBI has these emails in hand. It's too bad Director Comey didn't take those gaping holes into consideration when he decided to send his letter. The FBI has a history of extreme caution near Election Day so as not to influence the results. Today's break from that tradition is appalling.
That's absolutely inappropriate.
Matthew Miller, a former Justice Department official, also blasted Comey's action.
The department goes out of its way not to do anything that can be seen as trying to influence an election when you're in the closing days of an election. And usually they interpret the closing days to mean the last 60 days before the election, let alone the last 11 days.
But back in Iowa, Donald Trump had a different take on the timing of the FBI's action.
The FBI would never have reopened this case at this time unless it were a most egregious criminal offense.
It was less than 4 months ago when the FBI director closed the year-long investigation into Clinton's use of a private server.
We did not find clear evidence that Secretary Clinton or her colleagues intended to violate laws governing the handling of classified information.
Ever since, Comey and the FBI have been under fire from Donald Trump and Republicans in Congress who accused him of caving in. And published reports indicate there was widespread resistance inside the FBI from agents who staunchly disagreed with Comey's decision. Now Comey's under fire from Democrats, so much so that he wrote a letter to the FBI staff on Friday, obtained by CBS News. Of course, we don't ordinarily tell Congress about ongoing investigations, he wrote, but here I feel an obligation to do so, given that I testified repeatedly in recent months that our investigation was completed. I also think it would be misleading to the American people were we not to supplement the record. At the same time, however, given that we don't know the significance of this newly discovered collection of emails, I don't want to create a misleading impression. In trying to strike that balance in a brief letter and in the middle of an election season, there is significant risk of being misunderstood. But I wanted you to hear directly from me about it.
Now, experts agree that with thousands of pages of emails to go through, the chances of this issue being resolved before November 8th are somewhere between slim and none. And that means voters will probably be casting ballots for president without having some vitally important information about each of the candidates. Lena, Jeff?